For over 5,000 years, humanity has been told that gold is the king of metals and silver is merely its pale shadow. But what if this narrative is more fiction than fact? What if the true story of these two metals reveals a carefully constructed hierarchy that benefits some while obscuring a remarkable truth about silver's actual value? Let's start with an astonishing historical fact. In 3200 BCE, when Menes became the first king of ancient Egypt, he established the gold to silver ratio at 2.5 to 1. That means silver was valued at 40% of gold's worth. The Egyptians, who built pyramids and mastered metallurgy thousands of years before modern civilization, saw silver as nearly as precious as gold itself. Fast forward to Julius Caesar in 46 BCE, and the ratio had shifted to 11.5 to 1. Throughout most of ancient history, ratios fluctuated between 6 and 12 ounces of silver per ounce of gold. Today, that ratio stands at 57 to 1. Let that sink in. A metal that ancient civilizations valued at 40% of gold's worth now trades at less than 2%. Did silver suddenly become 57 times less valuable? Or did something else happen? The answer lies not in silver's diminished worth, but in its extraordinary utility. While gold sits in vaults as a store of value, silver works. It powers our modern world in ways most people never see or understand. Silver possesses the highest electrical conductivity of all elements. Not second best. Not nearly as good as gold. The absolute highest. It also has the highest thermal conductivity of any metal. These aren't minor advantages. These are game-changing properties that make silver irreplaceable in modern technology. Consider your smartphone, your computer, your car. Silver is in the circuit boards, enabling high-frequency operations that gold simply cannot match. Every solar panel requires approximately 20 grams of silver because no other metal can convert sunlight to electricity as efficiently. Electric vehicles use 2 to 3 times more silver than conventional cars. The 5G infrastructure rolling out globally requires silver for electromagnetic shielding. Advanced medical equipment, water purification systems, 3D printing of electronic circuits. All depend on silver's unique properties. Gold certainly has its industrial applications, but they're far more limited. Gold excels where corrosion resistance matters most: aerospace connectors, satellite components, and high-precision electronics that must function flawlessly for decades. But here's the critical distinction. Gold is chosen for these applications because it doesn't degrade, not because it performs better than silver electrically or thermally. In fact, silver conducts electricity approximately 40% better than gold. If corrosion weren't an issue, silver would be the superior choice in virtually every electronic application. The world's top manufacturers and engineers already know this. They're quietly stockpiling silver while the general public remains oblivious. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room: supply and demand. This is where the story becomes truly dramatic. Silver is experiencing its 5th consecutive year of supply deficits. In 2024, demand reached 1.16 billion ounces while mine production delivered only about 820 million ounces. That's a shortfall of over 300 million ounces in a single year. The cumulative deficit since 2019 now exceeds 1.3 billion ounces. Think about what that means. For 5 straight years, humanity has consumed more silver than it has mined. We've been drawing down above-ground inventories to fill the gap. Exchange warehouses in Shanghai have fallen to their lowest levels since 2015. London vaults are seeing notable drawdowns. The COMEX has shed nearly 70 million ounces in just a few months. These aren't theoretical projections. This is physical metal disappearing from the market right now. And here's the crucial difference between silver and gold: roughly half of silver's annual supply is consumed by industry and permanently removed from circulation. When silver goes into a solar panel or an electronic device, it's effectively gone. It's too expensive to recover from these applications. Gold, by contrast, is almost never consumed. It's recycled, melted down, and reused. Approximately 90% of all gold ever mined still exists in some form today. China imposed export restrictions on silver starting January 1, 2026, to secure supply for its massive electronics manufacturing sector. This is a country that understands silver's strategic importance. They're hoarding it while the West remains fixated on gold's historical prestige. And they're not alone. India, South Korea, and the European Union are all quietly implementing strategic silver purchasing programs to protect their technology sectors. The solar energy sector alone is projected to add over 4,000 gigawatts of new capacity by 2030 according to the International Energy Agency. Electric vehicle adoption is accelerating globally. Data centers, artificial intelligence infrastructure, advanced weapons systems all require exponentially more silver. Meanwhile, mine production faces geographical concentration, declining ore grades, environmental regulations, and geopolitical risks that limit expansion. Analysts warn that silver is increasingly vulnerable to liquidity squeezes and price spikes when investor demand surges. Some forecasts suggest silver could reach anywhere from $65 to over $150 per ounce in the coming years. In 2025 alone, silver surged 144%, reaching above $60 per ounce at its peak, the strongest annual performance since 1979. So, let's return to our original question: is gold really better than silver, or have we been sold a narrative that no longer reflects reality? Gold is an excellent store of value and portfolio hedge. No one disputes that. But silver is simultaneously a monetary metal and an indispensable industrial commodity with supply constraints that grow tighter every year. The ancient Egyptians valued silver at 40% of gold's worth when both metals were primarily used for currency and jewelry. Today, silver powers technologies they could never have imagined, yet trades at less than 2% of gold's price. That's not a reflection of silver's decreased value. That's a massive market distortion driven by perception, tradition, and perhaps a fundamental misunderstanding of what makes a metal precious in the modern age. Here's what governments, central banks, and major industrial corporations don't want you to know: silver is on the cusp of something unprecedented. The supply deficit is accelerating. China is weaponizing it. Inventories are collapsing at rates not seen in decades. The solar industry alone will consume more silver in the next 5 years than it has in the entire history of solar power. And the financial world is waking up to a reality they've ignored for centuries: silver isn't just undervalued. It's potentially the most strategically critical metal of the next decade. But here's the plot twist that changes everything. What happens when the market finally realizes the truth? What happens when the gold to silver ratio corrects even halfway toward historical levels? When supply dries up completely? When the first major shortage hits the headlines? You're watching this unfold right now, in real time. This isn't speculation. This isn't a distant future scenario. This is happening in 2026. The question isn't whether something will happen. The question is whether you'll be paying attention when it does. If you want to understand the forces reshaping global precious metals markets, if you want to explore what happens when 5,000 years of market convention gets turned upside down, if you want to stay ahead of the shift that's about to happen in silver and gold, then you need to subscribe to this channel. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss the next update as this story unfolds. Your financial future may depend on the decisions you make in the next few weeks. Because what you don't know about silver could be worth far more than what you think you know about gold.